Good evening. I'd like to call the Zoning Board of Appeals for Tuesday, October 19th, 2021 to order. Will the city call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Falk,
Here.
Ms. Selesny. Ms. Selesny. Mr. Friedman. Mr. Friedman.
Here.
Mr. Rogers.
Here.
Mr. Weigum. Mr. Weigum. Mr. Weigum. Mr. Weigum. Lady Chair, you have a quorum, but you only have 3. You need a unanimous vote.
Okay, thank you. Is there any communications?
Yes, ma'am. The phone number for this public comment is 1-415-655-0001 and use access code 2343-287-5267.
Okay, thank you. So we will move into our public hearing now. I will start by saying this board is a 5-member board, of which under state statute 3 affirmative votes are required, no matter the attendance, as long as we have a quorum. So since there is 3 of us present, we would all have to agree in order for a motion to pass. Generally, in the past, this board has offered appellants in this situation an opportunity to delay their hearing to the next board meeting if they do not want to go just before a 3-member panel. So what I think I will call, I'll briefly describe how we conduct business, and then we will call the case. And then at that point, I would like to ask the appellant if they would like to proceed or if they would like to delay to the next board meeting, which I believe is on Tuesday, November 2nd. Basically, the way we usually conduct business is the city will read a brief description of the case, and then we ask the appellant to speak up and state your name and address for the record, explain to the board what you're asking for and why. Then the city will read findings of fact. We ask you to agree with those or add any other facts at that point. We will then get a staff recommendation. We will open it to public comment, and then we will turn it over to the board to deliberate, ask questions, and then make a decision before moving on to the next case. So will the city call the first case, please?
Yes. The appellant Angelo Flucker, owner, is requesting the following from the board: a variance to permit an existing accessory structure, a treehouse, with 25-foot required side yard setback. 25 feet is required, 6 feet is proposed. The property is located at the northeast corner of Eldridge Lane at 19250-19250 Eldridge Lane, Sidwell parcel number 2411126-014, zoned R4 residential. The appeal is to section 5.64 and 5.69, subsections 1 and 5, Article 5, Chapter 45 of the Southfield City Code, more commonly known as the zoning ordinance.
Thank you. Is the appellant present?
Jody, this is Brianna. We do have a bunch of people on the line, so I just want to figure out which caller is who.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to unmute 313-549, and if you're Angelo Flucker, please let us know.
This is Darren Cright. I'm a neighbor.
Okay. So you'd like to speak during public comment?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to unmute 248943. Hello? Hello? Okay, so the next one number starts with 313421. Is this Angelo Flucker?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next number is 313999.
Hello?
Hi, is this Angelo Flucker?
No, it is not. It's Trina Johnson, his neighbor.
Okay, thank you. That is all the calls I have, Jody.
Okay, so we are not hearing the appellant. Do you want to go back to that second line where somebody didn't speak up?
Okay, I'll try it again. It's 248943.
Hello?
Hi, is this the appellant?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I believe I'm correct in saying we cannot proceed with a case without the appellant. So I would ask for a motion to move this case to the next meeting on November 2nd.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those actually, will the city call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Defoe,
Yes.
Ms. Selesny, Mr. Friedman,
Yes.
Mr. Rogers,
Yes.
Mr. Weigum.
Okay, so that motion carries 3.
I believe I see somebody on the computer named Angelo Flucker.
Yeah, it looks like somebody just joined us. Okay. Well, we unfortunately now we need I guess a motion to bring it back onto this meeting.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Will the city call the roll again, please?
Ms. Defoe,
Yes.
Ms. Selesny, Mr. Friedman,
Yes.
Mr. Rogers,
Yes.
Mr. Weigum.
Okay. So, hi, Mr. Fluker. How are you?
Good evening. How are you? I apologize. The link was not allowing me to join using my laptop, so I had to go through my cell phone for some reason. So it took me a few moments.
You're actually just on time because we were about to move your case to the next meeting since we didn't see you. So I'm glad that you were able to join us. So just briefly, since you missed the introduction, basically the city just we'll have the city read a little description of your case, and then we ask you to explain to the board what you're asking for and why you're asking for it. And then the city will read a findings of fact. We'll ask you to agree with those or add any other facts at that time. And then the city will read a staff recommendation. We'll open it up to public comment for anybody else that wants to speak on the case. And then we'll turn it over to the board to deliberate and ask questions and then make a decision. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot one thing. So we only have 3 board members. This is usually a 5-member board. Under state law, we are required to have 3 affirmative votes. So all 3 members would need to agree. If you wanted to postpone this to the next meeting in hopes that all 5 members would attend, then you would need to ask for that at this time before we get into it.
Want to do it now?
Yeah. I mean, like, wait, I'm fine with it, but I don't know. It, like, have another meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nah.
because we did a different time.
Want to do it now? We're good to go now.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Can we start over and can you call the case again, please?
Yes, ma'am. The appellant, Angelo Flucker, owner, is requesting the following from the board: a variance to permit an existing accessory structure, a treehouse, within the 25-foot required side yard setbacks. There's 25 feet is required, 6 feet is proposed. The property is located at the northeast corner of Eldridge Lane at 19250 Eldridge Lane, Sidwell parcel number 24111260014, zoned R4 residential. The appeal is to sections 5.64 and 5.69, subsections 1 and 5 of Article 5, Chapter 45, Southfield City Code, more commonly known as the zoning ordinance.
Okay, thank you. So Mr. Fluger, now is your opportunity to please state your name and address for the record and then explain to us what you're asking for and why.
Good evening. My name is Angelo Fluker. I reside at 19250 Eldridge Lane in Southfield, Michigan. I'm requesting to have the zoning board approve a variance to allow the treehouse to be, that is currently constructed, to remain in its current location and not be removed. I built this tree. This was a project that was over the course of 2 years. That was completed in 2020 with both of my sons here. They wanted a treehouse, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to teach them, like, if there's things that you want in life, you have to work for it. And they put in as much equity and splinters and carrying wood and learning how to use tools. They put as much effort in, or maybe not as much, but they put their own effort into it as well, to be able to have, a place to go outside and play in their backyard. And so I think the treehouse has been there, for a year now, and it's been something that they have utilized and enjoyed, during the summer and spring and fall months, to just have a place to go out to. And then, unfortunately, I wasn't able to. Again, I had this set up from my laptop, but I wasn't able to get in. But I think there is precedence for allowing this to take place. I had photos that I wanted to share with the board tonight of a property in the adjacent corner, also a corner lot, that has structures in its sidewell as well that has not been axed or forced to remove these structures out of their sidewell. And so I believe that there's precedence that is here on this very street that should allow this treehouse to also be remaining in its current location.
Okay, thank you. Will the city read the findings of fact, please?
Yes, ma'am. The appellant, Angelo Fluker, owner, is requesting the following from the board: a variance to permit an existing accessory structure, a treehouse, with a 25-foot required side yard setback. 25 is required and 6 foot is proposed. The following is located at the northeast corner of Eldridge Lane at 19250 Eldridge Lane, Sidwell, parcel 24111260014, zoned R4 residential. The appeal is to sections 5.64 and 5.69, subsections 1 and 5, Article 5, Chapter 45 of the Southfield City Code, commonly known as the zoning ordinance. The property to the north, south, east, and west are zoned R4, single-family residential, and are developed with single-family dwellings in the Magnolia No. 3 subdivision. Field inspections of the surrounding area revealed that there are a mixture of 1 and 2 story dwellings. The exteriors are made of brick and various sidings. Dwellings in the area have 2-car attached garages. The homes in the area range from 1,800 square feet to 2,500 square feet. The subject dwelling front yard setback to the west is 40 feet, side yard setback to the north 10 feet, and the side yard setback to the south 26.5 feet. All are conforming setbacks. The appellant has constructed a treehouse in the required 25-foot setback. The structure is 6 feet from the property line. A survey of the surrounding properties on corner lots indicate no other accessory structures within 25 feet required side yard setback. The structure was constructed without zoning approval or permits. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Does the appellant agree with those facts? And is there anything else you'd like to add to them?
I have a question. In the facts, he said that the survey of, did he say survey of surrounding
Yes.
residences?
Yep, surrounding properties and corner lots. Yep.
That's incorrect. Yeah, there's the house on the opposite corner of mine does not have a 25-foot setback. It is a corner house, corner lot, and it does not have a swing. There is a structure in that area, and they haven't been asked or forced to remove their structure in their side lot. So that's incorrect. Unfortunately, if I was able to pull this up with my laptop as I had intended, I would have been able to share those pictures as well.
Okay,
So that
thank
those
you.
facts.
Okay. Will the city read the staff recommendation, please?
Yes, ma'am. The staff recommendation is to not deny the existing accessory structure, a treehouse, in the required 25-foot side yard setback with the following condition: accessory structure be dismantled and removed from the subject property. This recommendation is based on the following: the accessory structure is not consistent with the intent of Chapter 45, the zoning ordinance. The accessory structure is not in keeping with the character of the surrounding area and would have an adverse or detrimental effect upon adjacent or surrounding properties. The accessory structure does not meet the minimum setback requirements as per section 5.64 and 5.69, subsections 1 and 5, Article 5, Chapter 45 of the Southfield City Code.
Okay, thank you. So I think at this point, yep, we generally move to public comment. And I do think we have a few people on the line. So Brianna, if you want to unmute and we can move through folks to give their comments
Okay, I'll do
on
that.
this case only. Yep. So we only are looking for comments on this case.
Okay. So I'm gonna unmute 313549. You're
Yeah.
unmuted.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
If
Can you
you
guys
could
hear me?
please state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, my name is Darren Cricht. I reside at 19210 Eldridge Lane.
All right, thank you. And the floor is yours, sir.
All right, thank you. My comment is that the structure is, I think they stated 6 feet away from the sidewalk. And also, I'm quite sure the city had taken, seen them out there a couple of times and taken photos. And if you look at the photos, you can see that that structure is very unsafe. I looked at it earlier today, and it's actually leaning towards the street. If someone were to walk by, there's a good chance that it could collapse and fall on them. Besides it being very non-aesthetic, I don't have any. Listen to the gentleman, about the comments about his sons and then putting a tree house together. Fine and dandy. If they could have put it back in the yard somewhere, I guess I've taken it that this officially that is his backyard because this is the corner lot. But it's very unappealing. People that come to my house, they literally ask me, what the hell is that? Excuse my language. But, and again, in looking at the structure, it looked like it's going to collapse at any moment. And as far as the access to the structure, it looks like he's just got some 2x4s nailed onto the tree for the kids to climb up in there, which to me, seems very unsafe on his part. Again, it's an eyesore, and it seems to be unsafe. And then, by it being right there at the sidewalk, it looks like someone walking by, the thing could collapse on them at any minute. If the gentleman could perhaps move it back into his backyard, perhaps that would solve the issue. I don't know. If he just wanted a treehouse for his kids, like I say, I'm not against that idea at all. But to stick it on what actually, even though it may technically be his backyard, is the front of our neighborhood. So when you come down our street, this is what you see when you come down or you turn that corner. So again, it's an eyesore, and that in itself, but it also appears to be very unsafe the way it's been constructed. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Brianna, do you want to unmute the next caller?
Yes, this is going to be 248943.
Hello?
No comment.
Okay, thank you. If you want to unmute the next one, Brianna?
Yes, this is going to be 313421. Oh, they hung up. So
Okay.
then the next one is going to be 313999.
Hi there.
Hi. How you doing? This is Trina Johnson.
Hi,
I
Trina.
reside at 19220 Eldridge Lane. I'm right next door to Mr. Fluker. I was there. I watched him and his children build that tree house. Excuse me. Excuse me. And it was really nice to see, them get out there and do what they needed to do and just have fun with doing it. I thought it wasn't finished yet, and I guess they're saying that it is finished. It did take 2 years to get where it was because they did little by little. My problem right now is it does look unsafe for the children and any child that may maybe get away from their mom during walking or whatever and try to climb it. It looks unsafe to me. What I would prefer is he could possibly just get it done professionally, and so it'll look better and be more safer for everybody. I understand the location of his backyard. It's on the right side of my house. I get it. It's a little difficult to have it probably even further back because of the trees. That was the sturdier tree that he built it on. So I just wish either he could have it done professionally, and so it's solid and safe. No further comment.
Okay, thank you very much. Brianna, do we have any other callers on the line?
Yes, there's two more. The
Okay.
next number is 248-877.
Hello.
Hi there. Are you here
It's
to
Myra.
comment on this case?
I couldn't get in, and this is the only way I could get in. To the
Oh,
meeting.
okay. Hi, Myra.
It kept
Thanks for
on
joining
rejecting
us.
my password.
Oh, okay. Thank you for joining us. Okay. Do we have any other callers then, Brianna?
Yes, the next one is 313468.
Yes,
Hello.
I'm sorry. Yes, Michael Zaks. This is on case number 21-24.
Oh, okay. Then we will come back to you. Thank you.
That was the last one, Jody.
Okay. Thank you very much. We will then close public comment, and turn it over to the board. Mr. Rogers?
Okay. I have a tree house. I love tree houses. I love what he did. However, I do agree with both neighbors' assessments of the safety of the structure. If I were a building official and I allowed for a permit for such a thing, I would require an inspection and have it done the right way with guardrails and a proper stepping platform to go up and down. I do agree that where he's located on that corner there, it's very visible, and any kid could actually walk over to that treehouse at any time of the day and climb up those little things, those little steps, those little 2x4s, go up to the treehouse, and anything can happen. So that's my big issue with it. If it were built to a more of a code specification and the safety was there, I wouldn't have a problem with this at all, because number one, it's up in the air attached to a tree. It's not really it's kind of like a floating structure, and it's probably more temporary in nature than an actual shed or something like that that's built on a slab and it's there for many, many years. So if I were calling out the case, I would say I would like to see it done according to the building codes and done safely. I would allow something like this, but right now, as it stands, it is unsafe.
Madam Chair, may I address Mr.
Sure.
Or Mr. Rogers?
Yep, sure.
There is a standard for play equipment. It's an ASTM standard. It's a designation F1148-03 standard for consumer safety performance specifications for home playground equipment. And so the building code does not address this, and we can't apply the building code to a structure that's less than 200 square feet. But there are specifications for play equipment under the ASTM guidelines.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Friedman? Oh, I think you're on mute, Mr. Friedman.
Nope.
Thank you.
I'm actually torn by this case. You know, I do think it looks a little bit unsafe, and it certainly isn't pretty. Um, you know, I think that if this was in a regular backyard, I, I, I would, I would approve the waiver, but it's a, it's one of those, or I'm saying I don't think we'd be here, but I think it's a corner lot. It's the same issue that we have with the fence ordinance. You know, in his backyard, but his backyard is in the front yard of his neighbor. You know, I would like to ask the city if I could. You know, he mentioned a home safety equipment thing, but if he would, and the findings of fact mentioned that this was built without the required permits. Are permits required to build a treehouse such as this in your backyard?
That's correct. That's would be considered a zoning permit.
So
it would require a permit just like a shed or any other accessory structure. We would look at the setbacks, the lot coverage, the location, all those types of things, and then how it's built. We want some sort of specifications that meet certain standards. So it, for instance, a shed doesn't collapse or blow away in the wind.
So a treehouse that was unsafe would be rejected for a permit based on its
structural integrity. That's correct. It also everything would have to be weatherproof and be able to withstand weather. This material, OSB sheathing, is not designed for an exterior use. It's designed to be covered with a siding or some other material to protect it from deterioration. The same thing with anything in contact with the earth or concrete has to be treated lumber, and I don't believe this is treated lumber.
Thank you. So I'd be inclined to reject the waiver request.
I was told that any structure, and I think one of the gentlemen just attested as well, any structure under 200 square feet did not require a permit to be built.
No, Madam Chair, if I may address.
Yes, please.
That's not what I said. I said that anything under 200 square feet, I cannot apply the building code to it. That doesn't mean it doesn't need a permit. A shed, an 8x10 shed is 80 square feet. I still need a permit for that shed.
I'm just saying, when I called the permit at the city of Southfield before I began construction, they told me that if it was under 200 square feet, that I did not need a permit. And that's why I never.
I don't know who told you that, but that's not what the ordinance says. The ordinance says that the building code says if it's under 200 square feet, the building code does not apply. The 2015 residential building code does not apply. I can't apply it and make you. There's certain things in the building code that, as far as structurally sound, and you would have to construct it so it holds up. For instance, the floor would have to be 40 pounds per square foot, which you're clearly not going to meet that with this structure. It would have to be weatherproof. It would have to have certain, we'd have to have all the spans on all of the joists that are in the posts, and how that's all attached is all, there's very specific design criteria for in the building code for these types of structures. But if it's under 200 square feet, I can't apply them. It's not required for me to apply them, but there are safety standards for home play equipment that we do look at for ASTM, and the state looks at that also.
Okay, Mr. Friedman, did you have any other statements?
No, I just, like I said, I'm not inclined to support this waiver. Although I, if he was deeper into his backyard, or if he had was inside a fence or something like that, I'm sympathetic to his kids wanting to play on something like that, and again, I wish but it's just too close to the street, and his neighbors seem to be offended by it on some level. So I wouldn't support the waiver.
Okay, thank you. Is Ms. Selesny unmuted, Brianna?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Selesny,
Hello?
this is
Yes,
one of
hi.
our board members that wasn't here for roll call, but is on the phone. So, Ms. Selesny, did you have any thoughts or questions
Yeah,
on this
I'm
case?
very sympathetic to the homeowner because I know that how much fun tree houses are, and it's part of growing up in a suburb in a treed area, and it's part of childhood. But this one just doesn't meet. You can't check off enough boxes on this one to make it worthy. It is too fragile, and it's too close to the edge. Even though it is pretty much open, you can see right through it or underneath it. But the fragility of the treehouse gives me a lot of concern for his children in the neighborhood, and it's too tempting for strangers to just go and have a good time. And I think it would be dangerous. So I can't support this.
Okay, thank you. And I kind of agree with Mr. Friedman. I was torn because I think we're always trying to encourage kids to get outside and play and to get off their, tech and technology. And, so from, the idea of a concept, the idea of a treehouse, I absolutely love, I think like my colleagues. But I was wondering, if it was, obviously, I think everybody thinks it needs to look better and be more pleasing. If it was swung around the tree, so it wasn't as close to the sidewalk and was further away from the setback, does that get it to 25 feet if it's on the other side of the tree?
Madam Chair, if I may,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't appear that that would help. The tree, I believe, is about 12 feet from the property line.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm not the best measure, so I appreciate that. Okay. So I think, I was also very curious to see if neighbors would join us to either express their desire to keep it or their desire to not keep it. For anybody watching, we do definitely listen when, especially multiple neighbors appear and have concerns, especially adjacent neighbors, no matter what kind of case it is. So I agree. I think that unfortunately, I can't support this request either. And so I guess at that point, we would, does anybody else have any questions or any other comments before we proceed to a motion? Okay, Mr. Rogers, would you make a motion for us?
Yes, hang on. Here we are.
Okay.
In regards to zoning board case 21-25, the appellant Angelo Fluker, owners requesting the following from the board: a variance to permit an existing accessory structure, treehouse. The property is located at the northeast corner of Eldridge Lane at 19250 Eldridge Lane. Sidwell parcel 2411-126014, zoned R4 residential. I make a motion to deny the existing accessory structure, treehouse, in the required 25-foot yard setback, with the following condition: that the accessory structure be dismantled and removed from the subject property. I make this motion based upon the following. One, the accessory structure is not consistent with the intent of Chapter 45 of the zoning ordinance. Number two, the accessory structure is not in keeping with the character of the surrounding area and would have an adverse or detrimental effect upon adjacent or surrounding properties. And three, the accessory structure does not meet the minimum setback requirements as per section 5.64 and 5.691, Article 5, Chapter 45 of the Southfield City Code.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second it if my mic is open.
Okay, Thank you. Will the city call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is a motion to deny the waiver. So yes vote would be in support of denying the waiver. No vote would be against that.
Ms. Defoe,
Yes.
Ms. Selesny,
Yes.
Mr. Friedman,
Yes.
Mr. Rogers,
Yes.
Mr. Weigum.
Okay, so the motion to deny carries 4-0. So unfortunately, your request for the waiver is denied and the structure will need to be dismantled. Do you have any questions?
Is there a time frame for that?
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, please.
I
You can't
brought up
see me
this
looking at you.
I brought up
Yes.
this exact question with the building official, Mark Pilot, and he said 30 days would be a good recommendation.
Okay. So there is that 30 days is the recommended request. It's not in our motion, but that is the, I think, desire from the building department for it to be down within 30 days. So that would give you till, mid-November. Okay, any other questions?
No.
Okay, thank you for joining us. Will the city call the next case, please?
Case number 2124. The appellant Michael Zach, representing the owner, Faith Group Real Estate, is requesting the following waivers from the board: 1 additional wall sign, 1 permitted, 2 proposed. The property is located on the west side of Southfield Road between 10 Mile Road and Addison Street at 24785 Southfield Road. Sidwell parcel 2426226003, zoned B2, planned business. The property to the
Hello?
yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I've left out part of this case on this findings of fact. Let me get my the appeal is to section. I apologize. The property is located on the west side of Southfield Road between 10 Mile Road, Addison Street, 24785 Southfield Road, Sidwell parcel 2426226003, zone B2, planned business. The appeal is to sections 8.58 subsections 3A, Article 10, Chapter 99 of the Southfield City Code, more commonly known as the sign ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Is the appellant here?
Yes.
Okay, hi, if you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Sure. Michael Zacks from Vortex Sign. My address is 20720 North Home Street, Southfield, Michigan, 48076.
Great, thank you. Could you please explain to the board what you're asking for and why?
Sure. We're representing the owner, which is Faith Group LLC. Their address is 24785 Southfield Road. It's a new business. Unfortunately, the way they're situated, they face Southfield Road, and there's an elevation that faces 10 Mile Road. However, the hardship would be without the second sign on the elevation facing 10 Mile Road. Traffic going eastbound on 10 Mile Road, the only way they'd see that location is in their rear view mirror. Additionally, any traffic going southbound on Southfield Road would pass the location without the identification on the north end of the building. We feel that the request is reasonable, and we were granted a similar relief at the Tim Hortons at 13 and Southfield Road, where they had one sign on each elevation of the building. These being difficult times, especially for fast food business, we feel that the request is reasonable, doesn't violate the spirit of the ordinance, and we believe it's aesthetically pleasing, about as much as a sign can be. I can answer any questions about the content of the sign or how it's constructed if anybody on the board has a question.
Okay, thank you. Will the city read the findings of fact?
Yes, ma'am. The appellant Michael Zach, representing the owner, Faith Group Real Estate, is requesting the following waivers from the board. 1 additional wall sign, 1 is permitted, 2 proposed. The property is located on the south side, I apologize, located on the west side of Southfield Road between 10 Mile Road and Addison Street at 24785 Southfield Road, Sidwell parcel 2426226-003, Zone B2, planned business. The property to the north across 10 Mile Road is Zone B3, general business, and is currently developed with the CVS Pharmacy building. The property to the south is Zone B2, planned business, and is currently developed with Snipe Shoes Store and an ABC warehouse. The property to the west is zoned B2, planned business, and is developed with the multi-tenant retail center. The property to the east across Southfield is Zone P, parking, and B3, general business, and is developed with a Sunoco gasoline station and restaurant. The site is a 2-tenant retail building containing a salsarita with a drive-up window and a T-Mobile cellular store. 1 entrance exit to the south is located along the Southfield Road frontage. Limited mature landscaping exists on the site, as well as a deep right-of-way landscaped area along the Southfield Road frontage. A survey of signage at the site reveals 1 illuminated ground support sign 10 feet 4 inches in height, about 45 square feet in area, 2 illuminated wall signs, T-Mobile, about 51 square feet in an area, and Salsaritas, 39 square feet in area, exists on the east elevation facing Southfield Road. An illuminated menu board, 32 square feet in area and 6 feet in height, which was approved by ZBA case number 5-64. All of the signage is illuminated. The appellant proposes to install 1 illuminated wall sign, 39 square feet in area, on the north elevation. In the B2 planned business zone, 1 wall sign per tenant at a ratio of 2 square feet of sign area per linear foot of building frontage is permitted at a maximum area of 97 square feet in the area for this tenant space.
Okay, thank you. Does the tenant agree with those? I'm sorry, does the appellant agree with those facts?
Yes, just important to note that combination of the 2 signs is less than what would be allowed, based on what the ordinance reads.
Okay, thank you. Will the city read the staff recommendation, please?
Staff recommendation is to deny the second wall sign. The recommendation is based on the following. There is no frontage on the north side of the property facing 10 Mile Road. The addition of a second wall sign could provide a precedent for the other tenants at the site to also seek a second wall sign on the south elevation of the building. The second wall sign facing 10 Mile Road is a duplication of the ground sign, which also faces 10 Mile Road. The site has only 1 entrance and parking area off Southfield Road, and the need for identification on each side of the building is an example of sign proliferation at the site. In ZBA case 5-64, a wall sign proposed in the same location was denied on November 1st, 2005.
Okay, thank you. Does the appellant have anything to add after the recommendation?
No, I suppose I would just reference that the Tim Horton at 13 in Southfield was granted signage on both elevations.
Okay, thank you. So, Brianna, do we have anybody on the public comment line?
No.
Okay. So we will open public comment and close public comment with no attendees and turn it over to the board. Mr. Friedman?
I actually have no problem with this sign. I've seen this location struggle with some other businesses, and I think they need all the help they can get. I mean, I think they should really attempt. Frankly, they should attempt to have a sign on that single portion facing 10 Mile, because people go to the location hoping to get Southfield Road traffic, and for some reason, I don't think people going south on Southfield Road seem to to be willing to stop there while the people going north really can't get there. But again, I think they're going to need all the help they can get. I don't have an issue with this sign. It is a duplicate of the ground sign that's out there, but I would approve this sign.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rogers?
First of all, I do agree with Mr. Friedman. The turnover at that little spot there, I am concerned long term. They've already had turnover since they built that little building. Secondly, I was looking at the other three corners of 10 Mile and Southfield Road, and each one of them have signage facing 10 Mile and facing Southfield Road. So if you look at this building, this technically doesn't front 10 Mile. There's a small little parking area from the next door neighbor that's in front of it, but technically this building does front 10 Mile, and I feel that it does need signage on this side. And if you want to keep these places in business, you have to allow them to advertise so that four directions of traffic can see it at any point in time. I don't think this is sign proliferation. This is kind of an interesting architectural building, and looking at the sign that's proposed, it's very modest. It doesn't have bells and whistles, so I would be for this additional sign.
Thank you. Ms. Selesny?
Yes, I agree with my other board members, and I don't need to repeat that all. But I think that the sign is modest, and they're right that this location seems to need all the help that it can get. We have watched companies come in and leave and not be able to pull it together, and I hope maybe this will help them.
Okay, thank you. So my notes, I think, are almost exactly what Mr. Rogers was saying. I noticed like the CVS on the corner and the unique lady dresses also had kind of signage facing both of the major thoroughfares. So that was kind of where my thoughts were going. So I feel like there's agreement on the board on the second sign. However, I'm concerned about square foot area, wall sign area, because I think we would include the T-Mobile sign, which is 51 square, what is it? 51 square feet. The Salsarita sign's 39, and then the second Salsarita would be 39. So that's 129 square feet. And I think they only get 97. Is that right? Bill, am I correct, or is it supposed to be two? They get 196 or something.
They get two square feet for
so 194
lineal foot of that tenant space, not the whole building.
Oh, of just their tenant space. Okay,
That's
so
correct.
what is their tenant? Is their tenant space the 97?
Yes,
Okay, so they should qualify for 194.
correct.
Okay, so their signs are only 39, so together that's 80. So they could almost double the size of their signs.
They're way under, yes.
Okay, well, that's a consideration, I guess, too. Okay, so then we don't need area, so scrap my notes on that. Okay, well, let's see. Ms. Leslie, do you want to make a motion on this one?
Sure. Finding the fact. Okay, the case number is 21-24, where the appellant Michael E. Zach is representing the owner Faith Group Real Estate, is requesting a waiver of one additional wall sign, one permitted and one proposed, to the property located on the west side of Southfield Road between 10 Mile and Addison, 24785 Southfield Road, Sidwell parcel 2426-226-003, Zone B2 Plan Business. I move that we grant the additional sign. It is under the amount of signage that is permitted by the ordinance, and it is not a case of sign proliferation, and that's my reasoning.
Okay. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Will the city call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Defoe,
Yes.
Ms. Selesny,
Yes.
Mr. Friedman,
Yes.
Mr. Rogers,
Yes.
Mr. Weigum.
Okay, so that carries 4-0. So Mr. Zek, please work with the building department to get permits and whatever else would be needed to get your signs up.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good evening.
Thank you, you too. Okay, so now that concludes our public hearing. Next on the agenda is minutes from August 3rd. Does anybody have any changes, corrections, concerns? Hearing none, do we want a motion to approve the minutes from August 3rd?
So moved.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Second.
All right. I can't remember. Do we do roll call on these two? I think we do. Will the city call the roll? I can't remember.
Ms.
I'm sorry.
Ms.
Yes.
Defoe? Ms. Defoe,
Yes.
Ms. Selesny,
Yes.
Mr. Friedman,
Yes.
Mr. Rogers,
Yes.
Mr. Weigum.
Okay, so the minutes are approved, and next up is our next meeting on November 2nd.
We
So
have
go ahead.
two cases. One is a fence and one is a setback requirement.
Okay, is the fence on a corner lot?
No, I believe it's a fence in a front yard,
Oh, okay,
a 6-foot fence in a front yard.
okay,
And then we have an addition. They're 25 feet required and 10 feet proposed.
okay. Okay, so 2 residential cases, all right. And we're past the deadline for that day?
Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you. All right, so miscellaneous. Anybody have anything for miscellaneous?
I have a quick question about procedure.
Sure.
So when I introduce the case, I read the legal notice. Do I need to repeat that when I start my findings of fact?
Yes, that has usually been our procedure.
Okay, thank
So
you.
what I expect is that you're reading off the agenda for the
Correct,
ruling of the case and then reading the full findings of fact at that point.
correct.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. I was curious if I mean, again, I'm fine with it. I'm just kind of curious. So are we intending to stay video conferencing for the foreseeable future, Brianna? Are you hearing anything from administration or the council on that?
I haven't heard anything. Council is still meeting remotely.
Oh, they are.
So,
Okay.
yes, plan commission, zoning board, site plan, all those boards have to follow suit with city council. So
Okay.
as soon as they make the decision to go live, which I really want them to, we will do that.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've been very fortunate. I mean, obviously I think Mr. Wygum's been having some challenges, but frankly, most of our appellants haven't, which is almost more important than our board members. But, you know, I think thankfully we've not had too many technical, you know, glitches. So, okay. I was just curious. Okay. Anything else before we, adjourn? Okay. Can we have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 All right, good night, everybody.